I'll say this, it's very weird seeing a Bethesda presentation without the annoying
Fake
chatter.
clapping.
Well, yeah, like having all the dancing bears and like monkeys to perform and chimpanzees to clap for them every single time they say anything. I wiped my butt today. Oh my God, it's amazing. Clap, clap, clap.
Hey guys, what's going on? You are listening to This Week in Geek, and this is the prototype. And it is I, your host, Mike the Birdman, returning briefly from hiatus to talk about E3 2021. But this is the first official day, so we still have coverage from before. I wasn't involved. You should listen to it because it's important. But today we're going to be talking about Microsoft and Bethesda's E3 presentation, and as well talking about the SquareEnix presentation, which for us just happened a little while ago. For me, ended about 2 minutes ago. These guys got to watch it live. I had to do a government thing before people showed up today. So, yeah, I'm back.
What are
I'm
you
not
doing?
dead.
Taking priority with government stuff over top of video games. Like, what are you doing, man?
Oh my God. Have I got stories for you about this meeting?
Stories off air that I will inevitably laugh at probably, but probably aren't safe for podcast, right?
There was some yelling involved today, and it was kind of funny. And
Okay.
not from me. So anyway, we are going to be talking about this. It was streamed live on Twitch, on YouTube, and pretty much, technically you could stream it to your refrigerator if you knew how to do that. So yeah, it's been a conference. Microsoft, I think, came out of the gates really, really strong. In fact, this is probably Microsoft's best conference in years.
I'm thinking since before they had the disastrous 2013.
Yeah, this is stronger.
Probably.
This is about as strong as some of their best Xbox 360 years. Like, this is something like they opened up the show with Todd Phillips because
Todd Howard,
whatever. Todd.
I just
Todd
call
comes
him.
in.
I just call him Meme Man. I literally said that in my notes.
So he comes out. He's like, "Hi, Starfield. Here's the date."
Hi, we're making a new game for the first time in 25 years.
Yeah.
Which that's exactly what he said. This is our first new game in 25 years, and that tells you exactly about what Bethesda's been all about. Milking their franchises. This is forcing them to do something new.
Mm-hmm. Now, this has been dated. It's an Xbox exclusive for next November, I think.
Yep. 11/11/22.
Yeah, so that'll be a thing. And
I think that one was actually, I think it might be the first Series X console exclusive, in that it's going to go to PC, but I don't think that one's going to run on Xbox One.
I didn't.
No, there's
look.
a couple. There's actually a couple here. I went and double checked. There's a couple that came out.
But I mean, this was the first trailer I think we've seen where they said that.
This is the first trailer. There's a couple in the show, but this is the first trailer that is series exclusive. Yeah.
And I think Starfield looks cool. I'm interested. It's day one Game Pass, so why wouldn't I play it?
Yep.
That's the biggest thing Xbox has going for it right now. People are like, oh, there's no good exclusives. Well, now there are, and almost all of them are Game Pass day one.
Well, they said 30 games, 27 of which were day one exclusive to Game Pass.
Yeah.
Or day one Game Pass.
So it's like the value of Game Pass keeps going up. Sony just got some really good exclusives. Let's not deny that. But Microsoft's but hey, you're paying for Xbox Live anyway. What's another $1 or $2? And you get access to all these things with the library constantly being updated. It's a serious value. And now we're getting these big game studios putting out these really impressive day one exclusive to the console. Starfield's been looking forward to for a lot of people for years. I imagine next year we'll see something on Elder Scrolls 6. My guess is we probably won't see that till 2023,
I'm thinking
24.
I'm thinking 24.
I'm
Yeah,
thinking
same
24, but we'll get it teased for next
Yeah,
next year's.
I bet
conference,
that
for
we
sure.
will see a better deep dive or we'll see first actual gameplay, not just sort of cinematics of Starfield at the Game Awards.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
probably see something in that time period. I mean, the Game Awards come out in like late November, early December. I think the cutoff date for voting is like mid-November. So hopefully we'll see something cool. I imagine Jeff already has something lined up because Jeff Keighley, or Geoff, certainly has a way with people and publishers.
Well,
So
he's also going to be hosting it out of the Microsoft Convention Center or the
yeah,
theater. So there's going to be something there.
yeah, there's going to be something huge. So good. What was the next big thing from my? Do I want to skip ahead to Halo? Because I can talk Halo for like a couple minutes.
I have it listed down as I was watching it.
Okay,
So,
go ahead. Go ahead.
We got Stalker 2.
I have no real interest. This game was not on my radar at all.
To me, it looks fun if you're a horror shooter fan. It doesn't look next gen.
They're
kind of looks
early textures.
It kind of looks 360. It doesn't even really look like the facial animations. Like the only thing that makes it look like a current generation game is the draw distance.
The draw distance and the ray tracing. That's what stood out to me. And that also got dated 28th of April of next year.
Yeah, so it's probably going to be one of their... Well, they have so many games coming. It's going to be one of the bigger releases in April, for sure. Like
that is a console exclusive, by the way.
Okay. Bonus.
Yep. The big thing after that was the Back 4 Blood trailer, which said, hey, it's coming to Game Pass.
Now, that surprised the hell out of me. I don't know. Obviously this is like Left 4 Dead with the serial number scratched off. Okay.
I mean,
yeah,
it's
sure.
the Left 4 Dead devs anyway, so.
Yeah. So, I mean, why not? It looks fun.
And I immediately canceled my pre-order on Amazon.
Well, yeah. I mean...
No point in buying it.
Yeah, I mean, if there's cross-play, we can all play together. So there'll be PS5, PC.
We've all got Xbox One or Xbox Series X's, I think.
Yeah.
Yep.
So... I mean, that's cool. I don't know how well that game's gonna. I think sales on other environments are vastly going to depend on how well the Xbox people say it plays. I know there's a closed beta at some point. Again, I think that'll drive a lot of pre-orders.
I think it's August or something like that, and that's only if you pre-order.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to know more because technically we're recording, I think, as they're having a showcase on it right now.
Yep.
And then after that's like the PC show. So we'll cover that later. We're going to have to catch up. But I have a feeling they're going to be explaining a little more about how to get involved in that during that. Because that's basically all Warner Brothers is showing this entire E3. At least that they've announced.
What the fuck happened to that Star Wars Lego game?
Exactly. It's been pushed at least a year. There's nothing. I think we're going to see it at DC's Fandom.
That would make sense, but even then...
But that's like October or something, isn't it? Like,
it was late August last time, so I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to think of what other franchises Warner Brothers really have. I mean, I guess there was Batman. They've got the Hitman franchise.
They also have the Lego Star Wars Complete, which got delayed again.
Yeah, the Fandom this year is October 16th. It's way too late for holiday games.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say that. The holiday game window, in my experience, starts on September 2nd, runs till about November 29th.
But is that enough time to hype up, was it Gotham Knights?
Gotham Knights is already next year. They already said
Is it?
that.
Okay, then what about Suicide Squad? Wasn't that supposed to be coming?
No, that was way far out.
Yeah, that's years out.
Well, they've got nothing. They have
nothing.
games.
They have nothing again.
It's 2 years in a row, and they pushed that Lego game. How is it not done? Wasn't that in development for like 3 years already? And it's a Lego game.
Also, here's something to note too. We haven't
I
seen
think
anything.
they
Oh,
also
sorry, Ken.
probably delayed it because of the deal with Discovery too. So there's this whole shakeup of just like what the frick is going on with the company. So now that the deal is done,
do you think
they
Disney's
can finally
holding them
figure
up?
it. Possibly
Because it's a Star Wars game?
it might be on Disney's front because Disney has to approve it as well, but also because of the fact that this Discovery deal was going on and like no one knew it was happening until it was like the weekend before it actually got announced. But like that whole deal probably threw a monkey wrench in like everyone's situation, and they just couldn't announce anything.
I think if we don't see, well, actually, the only place we could possibly see anything about that Lego game would be at the Nintendo one. So I guess we'll see Tuesday. And if we don't see it Tuesday, we're not hearing about it till like October or next year.
Now, here's one game from all the coverage I've seen, and it is a Warner Brothers title. I'm surprised we haven't heard anything about it, and kind of not at the same time. This title's been surrounded in controversy. I'm not actually kind of surprised we haven't heard anything, at least from a leak perspective, about the new Harry Potter game, because that's supposed to come out next year.
They said we'd hear about it in 2021 or 2022.
So DC fandom.
I think it's
not DC fandom, but probably. There was also a huge controversy about the director.
Fandom. I think fandom is expanding from DC to just everything they own.
That would be interesting.
I'm assuming it's then, or they might be waiting a whole year and a half because they just want to distance themselves as much as possible, and maybe
also J.K. Rowling is.
Maybe they're just hoping she's gonna die or something, and they could just.
That's kind of what I'm thinking, that they're trying to distance themselves from the controversy, because last year obviously we had Black Lives Matter, we had the huge uprising in civil rights, which is fantastic.
Also, think about this: it might be a wrong time to show that game during Pride Month.
I never even considered that. Good call.
No, that actually is a pretty good idea.
We would not necessarily, like, we're like fairly either blind to it or like it doesn't occur to us that that's an issue, because we're just seeing Harry Potter game. We're thinking game E3, but all it takes is one article with somebody to go, hey, maybe this isn't the time to show off the game that's based on the property of the shit person. So that might be a very conscious effort to just avoid. Yeah, I'm looking at the list here too, because they've been uploading the videos. I think the next thing was that Contraband game.
Yep.
No idea what it's about.
It's the same people that make the Just Cause games for Sony.
Okay, so that shouldn't be too bad.
It's a multiplayer, like co-op multiplayer heist game in an open world. So you're like treasure hunting, and like it's like Indiana Jones or something, or like Ocean's 11 meets Indiana Jones, but 4-player or multiplayer online.
I was thinking more like Payday, except in an open world, which I'm totally fine with. So
that sort of deal. I'm imagining like you're planning a heist, you go in. Remember, what was it? Was it Wildlands? Whatever, one of the Ubisoft titles that made it look like it was a big heist game and then it wasn't. A couple years back. I think it's that sort of thing where you're like planning with a group of people what to do, and you go in. They're going to reveal it says a lot more later. I'm assuming that like it's a Game Pass game, which is interesting because that studio, Avalanche, I had thought for a long time that they were owned by SquareEnix. It's not that. It's that SquareEnix owns the franchise Just Cause that they made. So it's a weird situation where the Just Cause games are pretty much, for whatever reason, always going to be PlayStation. Maybe they have an exclusive deal. But I didn't realize they made anything else. And that's a fast turnaround time because it's only been like 2 years since the last Just Cause.
I mean, what did they do? The difference between 3 and 4 was like
they made
about the same time.
They made the graphics worse on 4, is what you're saying?
Well,
it was hard to watch.
But like the turnaround time between 3 and 4 was
it was like 2
about
years.
2 years. Yeah. So they have a pretty quick dev cycle.
And they're usually pretty quality games. Whether or not I didn't agree with the art style of the newest one, in that if you had an HDR TV, it was really hard to see anything. You had to like turn your brightness way up. Then they said Yakuza Like a Dragon is now, as of Shadow dropped, as a Game Pass game. So
you also missed Sea of Thieves.
Oh,
now
that's right.
that kind of gets me interested to maybe give it a try.
Well, also Sea of Thieves, I checked, and if I got the money, it's half price right now.
Yeah,
Isn't
it's
it
on
on Game Pass
It's on
anyway?
It's on Game
Yeah,
Pass
but-
if you have Game Pass, but it's also to own, like, I think it's $12.99 or $20 or
Yeah,
something.
it's cheap. It's on sale because Microsoft always does their E3 sales.
I don't know how, and I don't know why, but somehow years ago, I had a copy of Sea of Thieves magically appear in my house. It
Really?
just appeared. I'm not even kidding. It was just like, oops, Sea of Thieves. And I'm thinking, I don't remember getting this for review. Out the door with you.
I know what it is. I'll tell you off air. I know exactly where you got that from.
Yeah, probably.
No, I know exactly where you got it from, and it's a story not for saying on here.
But yeah, so Like a Dragon's dropped on Game Pass as of today. They also dropped some more Bethesda games into the mix. Doom 2016, Evil Within 2, and Fallout 3, I believe, are the ones.
And then they were like, "Hey, you can play Skyrim," and I was like, "Okay, Michael."
I'm wondering what they're going to do for Skyrim 10.
I think they're doing 120 hertz.
I don't care.
I think, or they're going to apply. Wasn't there like there was like a high end graphics like mod for the PC version that was taken out of the mod store, and I wouldn't be surprised if they're making their own official one to just like flip a switch and now it's got new engine graphics or something. But even then, it's like I don't want to play that game. That game sucks. I own it on like 3 platforms, and I get about an hour in, and I'm like, this game sucks. I don't know why everybody else likes it. You guys are all wrong. I hate it. I hate you guys, and I hate you so much. Stupid game that sold more RPGs than any other RPG ever. Yeah. So anyway, I'm not a big fan.
Yeah,
I can tell.
Battlefield 2042 looks cool, but I won't pay $90 for it.
No, that's a game. If it was the standard 60, maybe I'd think about it. And we used to have a relationship with EA. Not anymore. Not for the last couple of years.
They don't even. I'll be quite honest. They don't even answer emails, or like I have called and don't get a response back.
I know people there, but I haven't talked to them in like 4 or 5 years. So they're like, "Who are you?"
Yeah, like they are very focused on very targeted, I think, large streamers, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, which is fine. So
yeah.
Battlefield 2042 looks okay. It's basically multiplayer.
It's Battlefield. You know what you're getting.
Yeah, it's Battlefield.
Yeah.
You know what you're getting.
But the scalability, just I think it's, again, that game is going to be rough on last gen for the draw distance because you're jumping off 200-story buildings and you can see all the way to the ground. It's going to play like shit if you're on a previous gen. I wouldn't even bother buying it on PS4 or Xbox One. It's going to be garbage.
And they're also charging extra for next gen.
Yeah, it's got a $10 tax on it, plus Battle Pass, plus microtransactions. This is a game that's going to cost you like $150 to $200 for a multiplayer only game.
Is there a Battle Pass confirmed?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow. Well, that sucks. I mean, I don't mind paying for the Battle Pass for COD because I play it enough.
This game should be free if you are a member of if you have Game Pass Ultimate,
or like EA Play.
Well, that's which is included,
which is the same thing.
Yeah, it should be free on there, and if you have EA Play on, I think, is it available on PlayStation still? I know it was for a while.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Then it should be free to download, and then you only have to pay for the Battle Pass. But they're trying to milk whatever they can out of you. Like, they didn't even bother with a single-player campaign. And I'm sorry.
This is something they did years ago, and the closest comparison I can think about this, they're trying to pull what Activision did with Call of Duty Black Ops 4. And Black Ops 4 had no campaign, was multiplayer only, and they said you could experience quote-unquote single-player content by doing the operator missions. The operator missions would take you about 15, 20 minutes apiece. There was like 10 operators, I think, by the time the season was done. And that introduced their version of Warzone. I can't remember what, I think it was called Breakout or something. And Battlefield.
For some reason, I was thinking, because I do not like these kind of multiplayer only games. I was thinking, what's their multiplayer mode? Bunghole Bungle? That's pretty much like it. This, I'll say this looks really good for the visuals. It's just the audacity to think that I know a lot of people that play the games for the single player. It doesn't even have to be a long single player campaign. You've made the game engine. I don't need famous actors in it. Give me 4 hours to get acclimated to it and give me a decent story, and then we can play multiplayer. But what you're trying to sell me is what everybody else is giving away for free.
Yeah, because Warzone is free. If you want to buy the Battle Pass, you can go right ahead. If you want to buy operators, go right ahead. But the base experience is free. Unless you buy the campaigns or the full experience, then you get a little bit extra.
Yeah.
But yeah, the base is free. Fortnite is still free. I think PUBG is like $20. Who cares?
This is going to crash and burn because not enough people have next-gen consoles yet either. So people are going to boot up the game. They're going to say, wow, this performance is garbage. It's either going to perform at like 20 frames per second, or it's going to be dropping down to like 540p. So like it's going to be an amazing experience on PC and probably Series X, but 12 minutes was shown. That's looks fun. That was always, I think, going to be a Game Pass game, right?
And that was something we talked about last year that we were kind of looking forward to.
Yeah, for small.
It also got dated. It's officially dated now for August 19th.
And it's got James McAvoy, who you may know as Professor X from the most
who sounds completely unrecognizable.
Yeah, like
did I hear Willem Dafoe in there too?
Yes, Willem Dafoe's in there.
Yep.
Yeah,
and
Daisy Ridley.
Yep, who is Rey Skywalker. So
I honestly think should do more voiceover.
I didn't recognize her voice like at all.
She did there was a movie I saw a while back where she did voiceover, and I'm like, oh my gosh, she's just like unrecognizable in voiceover. Like she should go the way of Mark Hamill and do voiceover for a while, just to kind of distance themselves from Star Wars.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, I would.
Psychonauts 2 looks sweet. I'll probably play it, but I should play the first one first.
Also got dated.
I seem to remember this game getting a lot of hype, and I'm probably the Debbie Downer in the room, but I don't care. I feel like I heard about this years ago, and I think the guy behind it was, I think his name was Tim Schafer or something.
Yes.
And it was just, Psychonauts are so amazing. Look at me. I'm fucking Jack Black. Blah, 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 blah. Psychonauts. Oh my God. Here it's coming. Kickstart me. Oh my God. Shut the fuck up and release it. I don't care.
I think the big deal was they were the first. It was the first time.
They were the first game that was on Fig.
Well, and they were a studio that was considered a larger studio that fell apart, and I think they were the first big kickstarted game studio.
Yeah, that
where they got millions to make their next game.
That was Double Fine Adventure, which became Broken Age, which was okay. It didn't feel like the money that went into it resulted.
The money was not on the screen.
No, the money went into getting wages put together and paying for setting up the studio is what it did.
Pretty much. And then they got bought by Microsoft, so now they have infinite money.
Which this looks much more creative.
Yeah.
Fallout 76, we're not going to talk about it.
The only thing the only thing I can say about Fallout 76 is there was an article from a couple days ago saying they're sunsetting the Battle Royale mode in that game called Nuclear Winter, which is a good move. They're introducing more single-player content with the Brotherhood of Steel and the Pit. The Pit was an expansion from Fallout 3. So, honestly, Fallout 76, what should have happened, they should have turned this in fucking reverse. The game should have started as a single-player experience and then added multiplayer later for people who want to do that and have the option. Do you want to play by yourself or do you want to play with multiplayer?
But our fans are gullible, stupid, and we want their money.
Yeah, and hell, they got me. I got the game for review, and I still went out and bought the collector's edition. But I'm also one of the few
How's
people
that? How's that bag treating you?
I'm one of the few people that has both bags, and I could flip my version for a pretty good profit, but I'm not going to until I really become desperate. But yeah, and what you're thinking of is one of the other things that happened with this is Fallout 76 was just so mismanaged. Although the fact that it's on Game Pass does increase the player base, but that's not necessarily yay. I mean, I don't know how many people are actively buying stuff from the Bethesda store or
Lots,
whatnot.
because there's a lot of gullible super fans.
Yeah, like there was a subscription thing that came out. I want to say that was last year or the year before.
People were spending $100 a month on that game.
Yeah, like I don't get it. I think the most I spent on that game was $5.
Well, I said, I think privately in the chat, that the way I view this game is it's like you took a shit sandwich and added fries and a Coke. And it doesn't change the fact that the game was offensive on principle to me of how they treated their customers. And then they try to pretend that hey, you guys love this game. No, we don't. The vast majority of people view that as the reason you had to sell your company.
I mean, with Fallout 76 on pitch alone, I was like, this is a bad idea. This is just a bad idea from the get-go. So.
I was there during the first month of launch. I reviewed this game with 25 hours in. Mm-hmm. I was not impressed. I have not gone back since.
It looked like a PS2 game because
if they told me the single player content is real easy to access, there's no griefers, it's balanced, fair,
and the bugs are fixed.
Which I hear for the most part they are. I'd give it another whirl, but I don't like the fact that I have to have end game content to enjoy a lot of it. And now that game's been out a few years, for you to get to the really cool stuff, you got to be really fucking powerful. So I don't know whether I'll ever come back to it. Because me and Alex, we don't have time to play these really long MMO games where you get sucked in.
I have to cap it out if it's more than 100 hours, because we'll get like 3 or 4 games at once. And these are the kind of games where there are people that only play one game a year.
Yeah.
And this is for them. It also has aged really poorly. The game engine looks like crap. It looked like crap when it launched. So, I mean, that's a little more subjective.
It was already like a 10-year-old engine when it launched.
Yeah. So we're looking at like, this is like, what if we were releasing PS3 games now, but didn't do anything to the graphics? And then the worst part is when they try to pretend that it's a visually lush and beautiful game. It's not. So, rant over. Elder Scrolls Online, we don't know enough about it because we're not MMO people, but it looks interesting.
Yeah, both Elder Scrolls Online and Doom Eternal are getting their next-gen patches this year.
Yeah, and Doom Eternal is coming to Game Pass, which is cool.
Well, Doom Eternal is already technically on Game Pass.
Yeah, no, but for next gen, yeah.
But the next gen patch is coming
for free.
Year.
Yeah. Party Animals, no interest. It's
Gang Beast with like Muppet animals, basically.
Hades coming to Xbox Game Pass with an enhanced version. What's the enhanced version going to be?
So the enhanced version is 4K 60.
Okay, Ken, you play this game. When it says roguelike, does that mean you die in one hit?
No. You have a health bar.
Okay.
And basically Hades is, you start out with about 60 health, I believe. Like, you do have hit points. Everything has hit points in this game. And you're basically, you can increase your health, you can, as you progress through hell. And again, I've sunk like 160 hours into this game. The one thing that is a little bit of a downer is that they officially said that the PlayStation and Xbox versions will not have cross-save compatibility at launch. They didn't say whether it was going to be permanently non-cross-save. They just said it wasn't going to have cross-save. And that is coming out on the 13th of August. It is also coming to Game Pass, which I'm still going to buy it anyway.
That might be... Game Pass will probably be the only way that I check it out.
Same here.
And that's a good thing for them, right? Like,
especially with that game, it'll get people in.
And think about this too. Even though it's an indie title, when they advertise it to somebody who's never heard of it before, or played it, or played that style of game, and they have Game Pass, and then they see a little sticker, that a badge on it that says Game of the Year.
Yeah,
because it won a lot of Game of the Year awards. That's a good get for their service.
Yeah.
Then there was Somerville, which looks creepy, whatever the hell that is.
It's coming to Game Pass. It's like a robo-apocalypse kind of game.
Yeah, with like obelisks coming down from the ceiling, getting like a very like 2001 meets Terminator meets Death Stranding vibe. Then we get to Halo, so I'll just I'll say my piece beforehand. I still don't think the graphics look that great, and I know this is the multiplayer reveal, so this is probably dumbed down so that it can play across all their platforms, because heaven forbid you still think you can game properly on an original Xbox One. I want to see what the campaign looks like, because then we can have a much more advanced experience on next gen, because it kind of just looks like, oh look, they made a cheaper battle royale version. But that's my piece. Go ahead, people that actually want to play it.
Okay,
so I did notice the lighting got updated.
Yes,
100%. The first thing that I noticed, lighting looks way better. Go ahead, Mike.
Okay, so Halo multiplayer. First off, it going free to play for everybody is a really smart move, because the Xbox install base, it's not the biggest, but PC is fucking huge, and people love fucking Halo. So my guess is Halo multiplayer will have a battle pass. There will be microtransactions, and I'm perfectly fine with it. However, that being said, I think it looks good. Although my problem with Halo multiplayer, and this is going to sound weird, and you've really got to be an FPS guy to get what I'm saying, but you'll know, I'll try and explain it as best I can. The combat feels like it doesn't have enough oomph to it, enough punch.
It looks very floaty, like Fortnite.
Yeah, it's the weapons and the physics don't feel right. The fact, when I shoot somebody with a shotgun in COD, if it's like a powerful one, like say a Hauser from like Cold War or something, I feel the impact of that. I know they're fucking dead. When I shoot somebody with a shotgun in Halo, it hits, but it doesn't feel powerful. Same with the assault rifles in Halo. They don't feel right. That's an FPS guy, though. And anything from the Covenant side feels like you're shooting pew, pew, pew at them, and it's weird.
And the grapple hook isn't going to help it either, because that's going to make it even floatier.
Yeah, it's going to be very strange to see how this game plays. I want to see how fast it's going to play, because Halo's running speed... I think the grapple
is going to increase the speed of the game.
Well,
sure.
That's the thing, though, because unless the walking speed has been increased, I really fucking hope so, because Halo feels very slow to me compared to COD, compared to Battlefield, compared to even Fortnite. It just feels slow.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
I guess we'll have to wait and see. The fact that it's dated for holiday 2021.
They didn't give a specific date yet.
I know what day it's going to launch.
Interesting.
They were smart to say, though, that both the single-player campaign is coming, because there have been rumors that they were pushing the single-player back because it was still shit, and that they were going to try to launch the multiplayer to get people in. And they were very clear that they said both the single-player and multiplayer launch at the same time. And the only reason they would say that is if there was credibility to the rumor that they were going to separate them. Because at that point, I'd say, why release the game? If you have to split it up, and that would, because then that also subconsciously tells you that, oh, the multiplayer is lesser than, because they're taking more time to work on the single player.
One of the big things that I think they want to do they want to release it on the anniversary.
Yeah, I think it'll come out on the Xbox release date in November.
Yes.
Well, let me see. When was Halo 1 released? I'm going to look it up.
Halo
right
1
now.
was released the 16th. It's technically a Monday, I think, this year.
15th of November 2001.
Man, I bought that on launch day. Holy shit.
Yeah, 15th of November is a Monday.
Whoa, Europe had to wait like several months to get it. That was bad when they used to take a long time to release everything worldwide.
Yeah. So I think it'll come out then. You'll see a marketing campaign start probably around late August.
Gamescom.
Yeah.
You'll see some kind of a push for it. You'll see stealth marketing starting probably next month. You're going to see a lot of buzz on Reddit. You're going to see some Reddit leaks come out in the next month, guaranteed.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I'll probably
overall,
put a blog post out in the next week or so.
yeah. I mean, overall, I'm looking forward to it. It looks fun. It's Game Pass day one. Why wouldn't I just play the campaign in one day and just beat it? And then I'll just play the multiplayer at my leisure. But we'll have to wait and see, because I think Halo's been out of the multiplayer realm for so long outside of the Master Chief Collection. Multiplayer has really evolved across most platforms. In like the last time we had a Halo multiplayer, we had Titanfall, like in and around that time. And what do I mean by things have evolved? You look at how Fortnite moves, how COD moves, how Battlefield has moved in the last couple of years. FPS mechanics have changed.
Yeah.
People's expectations have changed.
Problem is they're still using
that fair,
old code base, right? Like they still don't have a new engine.
No, it's a new engine.
Did they finally do that?
Yeah, it's a new engine for Infinite. Brand new engine.
I'll be curious to see how it plays. I hope it's good. I really do. I love Halo. But the storyline's a little convoluted now, especially post Halo 5, because Cortana's a bad guy because reasons.
I don't know. You still didn't finish the first game with me. We were going to play together.
I mean, also the tease that they said, "Oh, I wiped Cortana." No, you didn't.
Yeah, exactly. No, fuck off. You're not getting rid of the series big bad with like a throwaway line.
Yeah.
That's like saying, "Oh yeah, that fucking Thanos guy, we blew him out the fucking airlock. He's dead."
That would be like Thanos shows up and they're having their big, they're all standing there doing their like Avengers, like ready to go,
and he falls and dies.
No, and Thor friggin' teleports in from the Bifrost and chops his head off before the battle starts, and they just all walk home. That's the end. No, and how the only aftermath is because he teleports in with the Bifrost too quickly and wipes out half of the Avengers himself by accident.
The only thing that would make that scene perfect is fucking Eddie Murphy shows up as Axel Foley. That's it. Everybody go home. Fucking Thor fucked it up for everybody. Go home.
No, yeah, but seriously, it'd be like, oh, they have this big talk. There's going to be this big epic fight. Like have like Captain America staring him down, and they're like, Avengers assemble, and then Thor just comes out of nowhere as he's about to charge, just chops his head off, picks it up, and goes right back into space. And there's just this headless body bleeding on the ground, and like every one of his subordinates is just like looking at each other, going, "What?
What do we do now?"
And then like the next scene is like they're just flying with the Guardians of the Galaxy in space, and they have Thanos' head hanging from like the rear view mirror.
Oh boy.
The next thing that got announced was Diablo 2 Reforged got a date. They actually dated it. It is the 23rd of September. Cross progression also has series enhancements. So 4K 60 probably.
Cool. Plague Tale Requiem, I think, is the sequel to Plague Tale.
Sequel / prequel, I think, from the looks of it.
First game was pretty good and did a lot for a low budget or lower budget game. They did a lot with that team, so it'll be interesting to see. Obviously, going to have enhancements,
and also Game Pass.
Yeah, Game Pass. Well, most of these are. We'll sort of jump through a little quicker so we can get to the second part without dragging. Far Cry 6, there wasn't really anything new.
There was some new stuff in terms of what weapons you could use, which honestly, this got me more excited for Far Cry. Although seeing what happened yesterday where you could play as the bad guys was pretty fucking cool too.
Yeah, that's the expansion pass. Like there's a reason to play the expansion pass, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Slime Rancher 2, cool indie title, sure. Nothing I think anybody's going to be like, oh my god, they showed it. But it's still cool.
If you like Slime Rancher, you're excited for the sequel.
Exactly. Shredders.
That looks actually kind of fun, and it's on Game Pass, so why not?
It's like they're cool borders, I guess.
Next December.
Atomic Heart. Not a
that
whole
looks
lot known
kind of
about
cool.
this. Again, looks interesting.
It's like Fallout and Control had a baby.
Yeah, I'm liking their quirky, first party titles that are happening here. Replaced. That was.
It looked 2D, 3D.
It was like super high.
Fantastic soundtrack.
It was like super high res, almost like Octopath style, but action game.
Yeah.
Then there was a little update on Grounded, which is still not out of beta.
It will. I think the update is saying that it's going to be out of beta.
They didn't say that though.
Oh, whatever.
So
Big Spider Boss. They made fun of the fact that do the arachnophobia.
Isn't
version.
Sea of Thieves not even out of beta yet either?
Sea of Thieves is
it
out of beta?
Like I thought it was still like one of those early access, but we're still adding stuff just so that it wouldn't have to give it the title of it's done. But like there's something like that I think people have slept on with Grounded. I don't think it's got the love that it probably should have. Among Us 15-player lobbies. That was the announcement.
They actually dated the 15-player lobbies.
Okay.
And they also stated that once it comes to consoles, it will be on Game Pass on consoles as well.
Okay.
It won't just be exclusive to PC.
For people that like it, cool. Then a surprise. Euden Chronicles 100 Heroes. That is the game from the I think it's the director and a couple of the programmers and maybe the person who did the audio, who did the first, specifically the first two Suikoudens, but also worked on the rest of them. That had a big Kickstarter. What was it, 2 years ago?
About a year and a half, actually.
Okay, yeah. Wasn't it sort of announced at the Game Awards, like 2019 or something?
Give me a second.
It's one of those situations where it's similar to. It was at a press event where they popped up with it, same as how Shenmue 3 did that, where they showed up at a presser and announced their Kickstarter, I think.
Yeah, but they also as of today, right after the conference, they put out an update to the backers saying, hey, we made a deal with Microsoft with Game Pass, and we're taking that money and putting it into extra DLC for you guys.
Cool. I'm very interested, but it's a 2023 game, so we don't know a whole lot yet.
And they also said it's coming to Game Pass, as well as the prequel, which was part of the Kickstarter, so that's coming to Game Pass next year.
Yeah. The Ascent, we've seen a lot about that, so I don't think we need to really talk about it yet, except that it's a day one.
Yeah, it's coming out in a couple weeks.
Age of Empires 4, cool. There's not much that we need to talk about that because it's Age of Empires. Just know that it's coming to console and PC.
No, it's not coming to console. It's only coming to PC.
Is it?
Yep.
Oh, that's
I double
right.
checked.
Yeah, that's right. Because it was making me think like, how are you going to play it? Like, is it going to have an interface that works well with the controller? So the answer is no.
Yeah, I double checked because I was like, I'm just making sure. That's stated for the 20th of October.
If you're going to do a reveal that's just a title, The Outer Worlds 2 is how you do it.
I thought it was Fable for a second.
That was pretty funny though.
Yeah, make like Obsidian there making fun of themselves. Is it Obsidian making this one? Actually, when I think about it, because they're making Avowed.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so they got two teams working, or they're pre-production on this.
They're pre-production on this because they said, "Yeah, we have no idea what the hell we're doing. We just made a title."
Yeah, so I mean that's if you're going to announce it, that's how you do it. Flight Sim showing gameplay on Xbox Series X. I don't know if they showed the S gameplay because I don't know if anybody would want to actually see that. It's probably going to look pretty rough.
Yeah, basically they're only releasing on the Series consoles on the 27th. The Xbox One version is coming out later.
Because that one, I believe, they haven't said it is going to use the cloud service to do all the rendering, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm actually gonna play this one.
Me too.
Mostly because I want to play the Top Gun expansion.
Yeah,
because that looks
and that's
fucking
that's
cool.
coming out in the fall.
Yeah.
Mostly because I want to see the skies. I want to see other places outside of my town.
Yeah.
I've been in town for like 9 months straight. Actually, wait, I've been in town here since like last April. So I would like to see other places.
Yeah.
And my computer can't run it. Forza Horizon 5, we heard that was going to be announced. They showed it off. It looks like a racing game.
Go.
It's
Yay.
also coming on the 9th.
Yep. It's a racing game, and it doesn't look as good as Gran Turismo, but Forza never has. Come at me, bro, if you want
I
to
don't
play
know.
it.
I would
Also, I was
argue
looking
the
at it.
environments look better, but Gran Turismo does the cars better.
Yeah, the cars and the ray tracing is going to be better on Gran Turismo.
The big things that I took out of this, they have a BR mode, and there's a create your own game mode.
Which someone's going to recreate Rocket League in the first week.
Easy.
Somebody's going to recreate Gran Turismo in this game.
Oh my god. You know what would be really cool? I just had this thought now because this has already happened. Someone needs to recreate the car chases or the heists from Fast and the Furious using Forza assets. And that's your race here. Accomplish this as Dom in like 5 minutes or something.
What, like it's like the 300-mile runway?
Yeah, basically. Here, you accomplish this, but there's only so much runway, so you better do fucking something.
And I think the last game they showed off was something called Redfall.
That looks legitimately interesting.
I'm getting a little tired of zombie and vampire games, but this looked different.
I mean, it looks like vampires versus magicians,
which is cool.
With sniper rifles.
Oh,
and it's also Arcane Austin. They worked on the Dishonored games.
Oh, okay.
So that should be good.
And they did like they showed a little wrap up, and then at the very end, their tease was they're releasing a mini fridge in the holidays that you can get. Looks like it holds 8 cans of pop.
Yep.
And so I guess they heard that because people got like they thought people were going to be like, oh, cool, look at these influencers with these cool refrigerators, and it was very negative. That they're like, oh, these rich fucks they're getting these free fridges. Why should I care about this? This isn't a cool reveal. Like people were mad that like that was not a marketing campaign that worked for them very well whatsoever. But getting a mini fridge like this, if they sell these things for like $200, they could sell at least 100,000 of them.
Yeah.
If people want a gamer fridge, like if they can keep the price down, it's not an overly large fridge. Like I have a mini fridge in the living room, and this looks to be smaller. This one is clearly made just for handling pops and your G Fuel, or I guess in your reality, this is your Mountain Dew fridge.
Yeah, it looks like it's like 3 times the size of a Series X.
Yeah, because they showed 2 pops, 4 in the bottom row, 4 in the top row, and then it looks like you could fit 2 more above. So maybe you can fit 10. You could maybe, if the door, I don't know how deep it is, maybe you can get a 12-pack in there. But still, kind of cool. But if they release it, if they say like $300, nobody's going to buy it.
Nah.
Unless you're building like a really awesome gamer room. And that was the showcase. Like, I would say, while it was their best showcase in easily 10 years, what it was not necessarily was an exceptional showcase for next-gen stuff. Very few things here looked truly next-gen. And that's still, they're having a bit of an identity crisis when it comes to marketing their system as the most powerful system in the world, and yet their games look last-gen. Yeah, they've done a fantastic job of marketing Game Pass, but when most of the games here are hitting like a 7 out of 10 in like anticipation factor, it's very consistent. So it's a very good showcase, but there was very few things that stood out.
Also, Jeff Grubb tweeted this out after the conference. Basically, the plan for Microsoft is to launch Avowed, Fable, Perfect Dark, Everwilds, Hellblade 2, Contraband, In Exile's next game, Collision's next game, and the Coalition's next non-Gears project in 2023.
None of those were shown here.
Yes. Redfall, Starfield, and Motorsport 8 are all set for 2022.
Okay. But the bigger games, like there was nothing on Fable, nothing on Avowed.
Because those are too far out to really show.
That's the problem. All the titles that are pretty much next gen only, like why would you launch a system when you have no games to really take advantage of it for 3 years?
They needed to get something out because the VCRs are pieces of crap.
And they needed to get something out because Sony was ready to go.
Yeah.
If there was not the chip shortage and COVID, Sony was ready. They had the internal documents of having 12 million consoles were planned to come out before the holidays.
Yep.
And they still shipped about 6, which is insane considering. Even if people can't get it, like they would have sold 12 million easily. They would have sold every single one and still had a shortage. And I think they looked at that and they saw they did an analysis and went, we have to get our console out, because they probably under normal circumstances would have launched it this year.
Yeah.
Because they were still getting Game Pass on, like they still don't have xCloud really ready to go yet. The infrastructure isn't really 100%. Like they should have hit the ground running and been like, here's your system, here's all the services, they're all working, they're all great. Right now streaming is crap on the Xbox platform. If you want to be a game streamer, you have to get third-party hardware and use a PC. So like all these things work on the PlayStation already, and they did day one. So for any complaints, I'm not a fanboy of one or the other. I love both systems. I'm just saying, I'm looking at this going, you're still not having games that are, yes, they want to have like multi-plat or multi like PC in this, but you're still not having games that really take advantage of your stuff, and you're just putting patches out for old games. That doesn't make it, like, just because it says enhanced for this system doesn't mean it's made for that system.
Which tells you what they're trying to do with Game Pass. Game Pass is their priority.
Yeah, 100%. Which again, it's just my nitpick to it. I still think the games that they showed here were good. I just don't think that they were exceptional. So it was the best showcase they've done in 10 years. But that being said, that's only because there was nothing in here that was crap. There was
unlike like SquareEnix, where
yes, exactly,
it was crap.
Unlike SquareEnix, where I went, whoa, maybe you should have just not had a showcase and shown these things off during Jeff Keighley's show, and then saved all the first party stuff for Nintendo and Sony, which it seems like 50% of the content that would have been here is probably being set back for Tuesday's Nintendo show and whenever Sony does a State of Play. Because there was no Final Fantasy 16, no Forspoken, nothing that has been announced as part of their exclusive window deals with Sony, and nothing for Nintendo. So this isn't the last we've seen of them, but this also wasn't a very good show. It starts with one of the worst reveals I think I've ever seen. Guardians of the Galaxy.
That took up half the showcase anyway.
Yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy from Eidos Montreal, which it makes me so sad because they're the Deus Ex people, and they're the people that tried to save Marvel's Avengers and couldn't. They did the best they could, and this just looks like a rush job. The voice acting is atrocious. It's so bland and monotone.
One of the things I did notice when they were talking about Guardians, I'm 90% sure this is the Avengers engine, just the way that it moves.
It looks like they took the Avengers engine and then slapped a game together in a year.
Yeah, like this feels like a really big expansion to the Avengers.
And they found a way to try to milk it for what they can. I think this was a contractual obligation game. Like there's no heart behind it. The graphics look a little jarring. It's really bad frame rate for showing something on next gen.
And this is coming out in October.
Yeah, and the stream was 1080p 60, and whenever they would like show other things, it wasn't that the stream was janky, the game is janky. It's like 15 to 20 frames per second. Don't show a game like that in 2021. And none of that. Almost every voice actor that was male sounded like the same person. Everybody sounded like Troy Baker just doing his natural speaking voice. There was, and then when they yelled, it's a monotone yell where it sounds like kids reading a teleprompter on like a Paw Patrol show to do their lines. It was so poorly voice directed that it made me not want to play the game whatsoever, no matter how good the gameplay is, because it sounds like it would be hard to listen to. And then on top of that, you go with generic looking faces because they don't want to pay actors anything. There's current Guardians movies coming out. There's deals with these people for the next 10 years. Why are you not using their faces? This is not a game that's going to last 10 years. This is a game that even if it had the voices and had the connection to the actual movies and had people hyped for it, people are only going to play it for 2 or 3 years max. So why would they think that they want to do this? Like, it's the stupid hubris of, well, you know, we want to disconnect it and have it be its own thing so that we can keep it as a live service forever. They were smart not to say live service, but this game is going to tank bad. And it's going to either be really bad on Square Enix, or it's going to mean that like, I guarantee you
it's going to be down to $30 by Black Friday.
This game is going to be what makes Disney pull the license from them.
And
I think they already have a plan to pull the license, because they've done it with they're doing it with Star Wars. And I think these are contracts that probably were signed years ago.
Probably 7 years ago.
Easily, because when these games started getting talked about, it was Avengers Age of Ultron time. I think that would have been 2014.
Yeah, it was during Phase 2 is when they signed all these deals.
Yeah. So this is Disney has actually really sort of pivoted how they're dealing with the video games. There is a team that is working with that is their own video games division. It's more about dealing with the licenses and stuff, but honestly, they've resurrected their interactive division just to kind of handle all the licensing for video games and stuff.
Because like,
so
I
have a feeling there's a shift.
Yeah, I don't want to be mean for the sake of being mean, but and dismissive, but it looks really bad, like really, really bad, and it's annoying because that team, Eidos Montreal, is a fantastic team. They're like, why can't we just get Deus Ex 3 already? Like, come on, this will sell well initially.
Well, Square killed the Deus Ex franchise with Mankind Divided because they wanted to live service the shit out of it.
Exactly. They need to reevaluate what their core, and I think they are doing it. They're in the process of shifting, but you can't just drop a project. They have to release it and make money. So this is going to come out. This game will be dead by spring.
Easy.
So I mean, it sounds, and at that point,
you go to GameStop, get it for $10,
and that's when I'll play it. And hopefully they'll fix the frame rate so it doesn't look like my eyes are bleeding when I'm trying to play it.
It's going to be on Game Pass. Give it like 8 months.
Yeah. Then Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster, a project where they're releasing Final Fantasies 1 through 6 on mobile
and Steam.
And I just thought about this.
What they should have done in the first place.
Yes, I'll tell you right now, if it looks like anything like those mobile versions they released before, people are going to revolt. But Pixel Remaster, that's not the same thing as the 2D HD, whatever they were doing with Octopath. But if it means high pixel density pixel art, like if we're talking, like, what would it look like if it was a PS2 game that was hand drawn in pixel art or something? This could be really good. We have no information on it. They said they'll reveal information later. I have a feeling that it's not that this is just PC and mobile. It's that it's not going to major consoles except Nintendo. I have a feeling that Nintendo, in a couple days here, might show that this is coming to it. Because this would be a perfect fit for a Switch.
That could work. Yeah.
I'd buy it.
And like,
Just
I would
take
pay the $90, whatever the Switch tax is on it, to get a version like this that has updated graphics of all 6 games, and as long as it's not just an emulated copy, you know what I mean? Like, this sounds like it's a pixel remaster, so they're going from the ground up on this. You know, make it widescreen, proper, whatever. I'm cool. I'm down. They showed Legend of Mana opening sequence. If you want to buy the game, you're already going to buy it. If you're not going to buy it, you're not going to buy it. That's pretty much how it is now. Let's skip the Avengers because that's dead to me.
Yep, Avengers Roadmap Showcase, blah.
Show me Spider-Man.
Where's Spider-Man? And it's
that was
funny.
supposed to be at Christmas time.
Yeah, they had to delay Spider-Man because the game was trash and needed to be fixed. And
they
then
had to delay Spider-Man
It's
because
still
Sony
fucking broken.
Because I guarantee you, with the fiasco that happened with Cyberpunk, Sony told them no. You're not going to release this till it's up to our standard of quality.
Probably.
So, we're not booing Black Panther. Black Panther's great. The expansion looks okay. It's just, the problem is it's in a shit game.
One of the things I did notice during the Black Panther thing is when they made the final couple seconds and it's Black Panther versus Claw, that's just pretty much a reused asset of the Kree Sentinel you fight at the end of the game, except he's red now.
Oh, but remember, they're working hard on this game.
What the fuck?
And also, it's Eidos is no longer helping Crystal, so whatever janky garbage comes out of this is because Crystal's doing their best to not make a good game.
Like, I liked the Avengers game. I sure as fuck regret paying full price for it. But the roadmap
it's
for
going
this
to be
game
the
is all
live.
over the place.
It's going to be the live service that Square doesn't kill.
Yeah, I mean,
It just won't die.
yeah, it won't die. And the fact that they introduced 2 Archer characters within 6 months of each other, what in the flying fuck?
It's asset swaps. That's all it is.
Yeah, because basically,
That's
I'm Kate
90%
Bishop.
of what the game is.
Yeah, like, there is some fun to be had in it, but I don't know whether I'm installing it anytime soon.
Hitman Sniper. It's a mobile
yeah.
game. Yeah. The Nier Reincarnation one, mobile, that might come to Switch or something later on, hopefully.
Probably.
We're going to skip the gacha games from Final Fantasy because that is abhorrent to my soul. Then Final Fantasy VII First Soldier, is that the one that's part of the remake they're doing, that whole series where it's like turn-based?
No. Okay.
No?
So, you skipped 2 things.
Did I?
Life is Strange Remastered
Oh,
is
yeah.
not tied to buying True Colors.
Yeah, you can
That
buy
was-
yeah.
That was the big thing for me personally, because I don't want to buy True Colors to get the remastered.
You don't want to buy the third game to get the first game.
On top of the fact that I don't want to pay $150 for it.
And it does look better. It doesn't look as next gen as they were trying to say it was.
It still looks damn good.
Yeah, it went from looking like a PS3 game, which is what it was, and even on the PS4 version was just the PS. Like, the graphics were almost identical to the PS4 and PS3. It's just the PS4 version ran at a better frame rate.
Yeah.
So
And
now
then
we're getting like a high end PS4 remaster. That's what it is.
And then the other thing that is, according to the YouTube page, is very downvoted. The Babylon's Fall show.
It's
What
looking
the
it's
flying
looking
fuck is
like
that?
it's looking like the worst Platinum game since the TMNT one.
Hey, I like that game.
But that TMNT one was just the worst of a bunch of great games.
It's widely
Yeah,
considered the worst thing Platinum's put out in terms
which
of
which
licensed
which
stuff.
again wasn't bad, just wasn't great. This looks bad. Like, this looks like bad for something that was announced 5 or 6 years ago.
Looks like someone smeared Vaseline on the camera.
Yeah, and it wasn't a problem with the stream because they would cut in between interviews and those were crystal clear. Also, the trailers for everything here at the show were released in 4K 60, except for the Babylon's Fall trailer, which is 1080p 30.
Yep.
So they are purposely making it look a certain way. I think they're masking up the fact that there's probably assets that aren't done, like really not done.
And they announced it's coming to PS5 as well.
Yeah. This is vaporware till I see it in my hands.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's nothing against the studio. I think it got lost in their shuffle.
Yeah.
Because this was announced before Astral Chain.
Yeah, they're fulfilling a contract is basically what they're doing.
Yeah, they were contracted to make it. They are much more happy working with Nintendo.
They're much more happy working with Nintendo and doing their own shit because now they have 10-cent money.
Yeah, exactly. So this is to finish off the last of the contracts they had with anybody outside of Nintendo. Because I think the rumor is Astral Chain 2 is in the works.
Yeah.
So
I'm surprised.
And their aesthetic style works for that better. It sounds like here, I think this was originally going to be like, this is apparently a single player game with a campaign, and then you have some multiplayer stuff. It sounds like this was probably pitched to them as being they wanted a live service game from Platinum, and then they realized they couldn't make it.
Mm-hmm.
So they tried to convert it into a single player game.
Yeah. So back to FF Origins.
Yes. So we had the FF7, the First Soldier, which whatever the hell that was, on the mobile platform, and then they finish up the show with, we knew it was coming because it had been, the rumors were too much, that we were getting a Final Fantasy Dark Souls style game, which terrified me because I was like, I hate Souls games. So they showed it, and it looked much more Devil May Cry than it did Souls, and it's also a prequel / reimagining of Final Fantasy 1.
Yeah.
So Stranger of Paradise, Final Fantasy Origin, like, it showed only 3 party members, but there, there's the 4 Warriors of Light. So I'm assuming at some point you get a 4th, unless something happens. But I couldn't tell if this was a prequel but until like halfway through, where it seems like maybe it's a prequel in that there's events that happen before the Warriors of Light show up. But then it's like, and also they're talking to Garland, and he's revealing that he is Chaos, but you don't find that out to the very end of the game. So they're deviating.
And also I don't know whether they whether there was recasting or whatever with that character in the past, but that's Chris Sabat playing Garland.
Was it really?
Yeah, no, I recognize that voice anywhere. That's the friggin' voice of Vegeta, my dude.
So I'm gonna, like, I'm playing it day one because it doesn't look quite as hard.
Was this the trailer where they kept repeating, "I'm here to kill Chaos"?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I was on the floor fucking laughing.
It's Final Fantasy 1, dude, for the NES.
It's ridiculous.
I'll
check it out.
They took Final Fantasy 1 and Final Fantasy 7 remaked it.
Okay. I'm here to kill Chaos.
Well, what I'm hoping is that this is like,
Chaos stole my hamburger.
I mean, there's so little plot in the original. You can recite the lore and plot within a 1-minute like speech. It's more complicated than Dragon Quest 1, obviously, because that's even more basic. Dragon Quest 1 is you are a descendant of somebody. Go get a torch from this dungeon, light the way through this other dungeon, kill a dragon, take the princess home, go and to this other town and get your armor, build a bridge, and kill the Dragon Lord. That's it. You could beat that game in 5 hours. Final Fantasy 1 had all the tropes that ended up getting carried forward. It's all there, so it's a more complete game, but it is the most malleable. So if you're going to do a reimagining, that's the best one to start with, because you're going to get people that don't want to play the original anymore, and if they do want to play the original style, they're going to play that new pixel remaster version. This is a way to get people that were interested because they saw Final Fantasy VII was cool, or Final Fantasy 15, and they love that Souls games and like Devil May Cry style is like the new hotness.
I mean, that's literally what 16 is going to be.
Yeah,
because you have the DMC5 action combat.
Exactly, they're going to. Yeah, so they're doing this. They're like, hey, let's get people into Final Fantasy the best way we can, and this is a good idea. In fact, the demo is live now for PS5. As soon as we're done recording and I post this, I'm going over to download it and try it out. And while it's downloading, I'm going to catch up and watch the PC Gaming Show and the Future Games Show, that we can come back and do a second podcast, and I'll probably tell you whether or not it's crap by then.
Exactly.
So that was it. That was that. There was nothing from Final Fantasy 16. There was nothing from Forspoken. There was nothing from Triangle Strategy. Nothing in the realm of anything for Nintendo that hadn't been announced yet, or Sony. This was, I think, in my opinion, a better E3 day than we've had in a long time, so far at least. But this was kind of underwhelming. We had a couple big announcements, and that was, like, I feel like the spoilers, people need to stop spoiling things before these events. If we were just watching this and Stranger of Paradise came on and you realized it's a Final Fantasy 1 remake partway through, people would be losing their minds. But the problem is they were talking about this 2 weeks ago. We didn't know it was a Final Fantasy 1 remake, but people were talking about a Souls-like Final Fantasy for 2-3 weeks at least. So I guess
something like that.
And then the rumors surrounding Guardians. I mean, we would have been disappointed watching that regardless. The only surprises in here was Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster, which was a 30-second teaser. Babylon's Fall, which was disappointing. And Stranger of Paradise. That's it.
And just the announcement, hey, we're not doing the shitty move of forcing you to buy the new game to get the remaster.
Yeah, they had said that was going to be a timed exclusive originally.
Yeah,
my guess was
it is a timed exclusive technically because True Colors comes out the 2nd, and then the remaster comes out for everyone on the 30th.
Okay, that's what it is. Yeah, okay. So,
but still,
sure.
I was thinking it was going to be longer of a wait, so that's why.
Yeah. Okay. So I mean, it is what it is. There's some stuff here that I'm interested in. I'm downloading 4K trailers just to double check as we go. My opinions might change once I play the demo of this. Hopefully, more demos come out for a lot of these titles, but that's I think, unless you guys have anything else to add, I think that's going to do it for part 1 of our coverage for E3 Day 2.
Yeah. So when are we doing this again, and what do I have to watch if I want to?
I'm assuming you're not going to watch PC because you get mad every year.
Every fucking year, I just want to hit myself in the dick.
Every time I watch it, all I can think of is that guy that hosts it looks like he's high and drunk.
And hates his life. He is one bad thought away from offing himself.
Day 9 is a really weird
Day
host.
9. Day 9 looks like the drunk, high, less successful cousin or brother of Phil Spencer. It's and Phil Spencer, if he were to hang out with him for too long, he would end up looking like the guy from Half Baked. What's up, man? Yo, what's up, man? That's they're perpetually high looking. The only thing I'm hoping for, what are you hoping for before we go? Because I know that they are showing the showcase right now, and I think right after that's the Future Games one. I'm hoping for some Sega stuff from Atlas, that we're going to see some more Persona on PC.
Yep, pretty much.
I want Persona on more consoles.
Persona on anything else besides the PlayStation.
This is a PC show, so if they announce it for Steam, it means it's probably coming to everything else too.
If I had to
eventually
anything for PC,
would you want more BattleTech stuff?
More BattleTech. I'd like to see anything from an RPG property get talked about.
So you're more Focus Home Interactive,
yeah,
or because I think they're still independent, right? Or they're not owned by Microsoft yet.
Nope,
I don't know.
They're independent.
Yeah. So Focus is, Focus and some other Euro jank would be interesting. Let's see if Spiders has something coming out.
Make another new world.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. More ports are always good, because once something is ported to PC, I'm hoping we see some stuff from the PS3 era from third-party companies that maybe had some exclusives for there, or stuff that was on old Game Boys and stuff. Maybe we're going to start seeing more HD remasters and remakes for PC, because once they port it to PC, it can hit pretty much everywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to do it for me. I don't know, Michael, do you want to close the show for the first time since February?
Yeah, so anyway, guys, I hope to be back sometime in late July full-time after my next procedure.
Do you think are you going to come back for the Nintendo one on Tuesday? Or
yes.
do you want? Okay, and then we'll probably do a roundtable discussion later, and we'll see if you want to pop in for some of that.
Yeah, exactly. So I will be back this week. You might hear me on a few other podcasts. I'm recording little bits here and there for them. If I can do it in 5 minutes, I'll do it, sort of thing. So I am healing. I am getting better. July 5th.
Stop dying. Stop trying to die.
Yeah.
Tell your body to stop trying that. Just have you tried not dying lately?
Yeah, exactly. I have. Fuck. So anyway, that'll do it for me, Alex and Ken. We'll catch you guys right here on ThisWeekInGeek.net. Please check our Twitter at ThisWeekInGeek.net. And until next time, well, keep playing, keep watching, and wear your goddamn masks.
At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought.
Thanks for listening to this episode of This Week in Geek. Hungry for more? Check out our website at ThisWeekInGeek.net. You can subscribe to the podcast, browse our Twitter and Instagram, and leave your thoughts on today's topics. If you'd like to give us some feedback, send us an email at feedback@ThisWeekInGeek.net. Tune in next time, and remember,
lower your shields and surrender your listenership.
We would be honored if you would join us.
Thank you for your cooperation. Good night.